What is up? Welcome to Beerfield Fantasy Football Shots. I am your host at Hot BFF with two P's. It is Tuesday, November 28th, 2017. We're here with news and your waiver wire for this week, which reminds me, I need to get my waiver claims in because I didn't get to do them earlier today. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at HotBFF with two P's. You can follow the Beerfield Fantasy Football Podcast on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. Go listen to the podcast on YouTube. Not YouTube yet, that's coming next year, but iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, subscribe, leave a review, let us know what you think. Let's get into the news. Giants executioner and soon-to-be former head coach Ben McAdoo has benched Eli Manning in favor of Geno Smith. Geno Smith is like the salad before we get to the ribeye of a main course that is Davis Webb, who's the real main attraction that's going to come at some point this year. They said we'll see him at a game before the end of the year. I'm excited, just not for Geno Smith. Michael Crabtree and Aqib Talib both had their suspensions reduced to one game for fighting like toddlers on the playground. So, look, one game, Cooper might not play. Have to watch that situation in Oakland. For Talib, it helps whoever's playing Denver, I guess. The 49ers have named Jimmy Garoppolo, to start this week. So, against the Bears, it's not the best matchup, but we've seen Garoppolo perform. He doesn't have a lot of weapons around him this time, though. So, he's probably a low-end streamer at best this week, but it'll be good to see him and see what weapons do with him. It's probably better for guys like Goodwin or more specifically Carlos Hyde against a Bears team that's not good against the run, that's going to have to respect the pass now. Darren McFadden, Run DMC, has announced his retirement from the NFL after being cut by the Cowboys. He went unclaimed on waivers. 10 years in the league, never quite lived up to what you expected him to be coming out of Arkansas, but still a pretty solid career. He was serviceable. He hung around for a long time, especially for a running back. Good for you, DMC. Good for you. Texans coach Bill O'Brien has stated he'll bench Tom Savage if he continues to commit turnovers. Not a bad idea. Typically good for football teams, not committing turnovers and stuff. Jordan Reed is still not practicing for the Redskins. Anybody surprised? Jordan Reed, injury, still going on? No, all right, cool. Matthew Stafford stated his right ankle is improving. Good news for the Lions. Definitely a situation to keep an eye on throughout the week. Don't think there's any chance he doesn't play, but we have seen Stafford struggle when he is banged up. And then Juju Smith-Schuster apparently has at least a chance to play this week. They are in the Monday night game, so I have to wait and see how this unfolds as the week goes along. Fortunately for you guys, we'll be right here to keep you updated. And onto the waiver wire. So we're going to talk some players at each position that I think are worth picking up so you can get your claims in hopefully tonight. So starting at quarterback, Case Keenum, he's been solid. He's got to get pretty good matchups down the stretch. He's got weapons around him, so if you need a quarterback, you can go get him. Josh McCown proved against Carolina this week that even if it's a good pass rush he's up against, if the team has a bad secondary, you can start him. They've got Kansas City. You've got Jimmy Garoppolo, who is now starting for the 49ers against the Bears. Blaine Gabbert, who's been serviceable even against his former team in Jacksonville. You've got Brett Hundley, who looked okay against the Steelers. Jameis Winston, who may have been dropped and may be available on waivers, suspected to come back from injury this week, hopefully. And Blake Bortles, who has 70 points in 3 of his last 4 games, is scheduled down the stretch. Indianapolis, Seattle, Houston, San Francisco. At running back, you got Jaquiz Rodgers, Peyton Barber. Depends on Doug Martin's status. You got Rod Smith, who's looked like the best all-around back in Dallas. Rex Burkhead, who's been splitting pretty evenly with Deion Lewis, should absolutely be owned. Eckler and James Conner. Eckler has some value. Austin Eckler has some value on his own as Melvin Gordon's backup, getting about 10 touches a game. James Conner, if you're the Lev Bell owner, sure. Devontae Booker, who is allegedly supposed to get more work in Denver. We have yet to see it yet, but we'll see what happens there. And Jamal Williams, who came out and had a good game for the Packers. Also, other names to keep in mind, J.D. McKissick, who kind of in the same vein as Eckler, is getting about 10 to 12 touches for Seattle and looks like their best batch. And Corey Clement, who's not always going to be involved, but in what should be a close game, will be involved. At wide receiver, Josh Reynolds has some value as long as Robert Woods is hurt. Marquise Goodwin, especially Jimmy Garoppolo, in is the number one for San Francisco. Yeah, Josh Gordon, if he's still not owned, making his return this week. And we all know what Josh Gordon can do. Zay Jones has put up 3 good weeks in a row now after an atrocious start to his season. Josh Doxson, who we're still looking for to break out. Paul Richardson, who's kind of solidified himself as the number 2 receiver in Seattle. And Dede Westbrook, who is getting involved in Jacksonville for what that's worth. Tight end, Hunter Henry has the Browns and Redskins the next 2 weeks, so plus matchups, even if you're on the fuck Hunter Henry bandwagon. Charles Clay, who's always targeted by Tyrod Taylor. And NASCAR himself, Ricky Seals-Jones. 2 very, very good performances with Blaine Gabbert as his quarterback. DST, you've got the Lions. They have the Ravens' bad offense at home. They're at the Ravens against their bad offense. You got the Chargers at the Browns, Patriots at the Bills. Patriots have been a really solid floor defense. The Bills' offense has gone lethargic. Broncos at the Dolphins. They're playing the Dolphins, so we'll see. And the Bears at home against the 49ers. Not as good of a matchup with Garoppolo starting. Still not a bad matchup. That's all I got for you today. Be sure to tune in tomorrow where Dan will be with you for Start Sits. Other than that, we're here 7 days a week on YouTube. We'll have a podcast for you tomorrow. Content 7 days a week. Follow us on Twitter at BeerfieldFF. Talk to us. Say hey. Live streams on Sunday. Etc., etc., etc. See ya.